opportunity, what we can say, global professional opportunity for chartered accountants in present scenario. So, friend, this topic is much needed and it's a need of the hour. Though India is coming like anything, it's going to become some manufacturing hub, and the global companies are coming to India for doing their business. That is for sure. But when we look to the global perspective, Indian chartered accountants, they are doing wonder abroad. I'm practically witnessing number of people who are doing great work abroad. And in the same way, today we are fortunate enough to have few dignities of dignity chartered accountants who are doing wonders in very different parts of the world. In our today's panel, we are having CA Sumit Dadda from India. We are having CA Naveen Sharma from Dubai, CA Vijay Soni from Saudi Arabia, CA Abhinav Maru from Hong Kong. We are having CA Vivek Agarwal from Australia. So in next 2 hours, all these panelists will speak and will deliberate, will let us explain what are the present professional opportunity, what an Indian chartered accountant can grab outside. It is not needed that we have to go outside physically. Even if we are sitting in India, we are running our office from India itself, then we can get some professional opportunity from abroad. So kindly get connect with us for next 2 hours and let us discuss the global professional opportunity for chartered accountant in the present scenario. First of all, in the starting of the program, I would like to invite C. Devendra Somani, Chairman CIRC, for his welcome address. Devendra ji, please.
Thank you, Abhishek Sharma ji. Today's learned speaker and panelist, CA Sumit Dadda ji from India, CA Naveen ji Sharma from Dubai, CA Vijay ji Soni from Saudi Arabia, CA Abhinav ji Maru from Hong Kong, CA Vivek ji Agarwal from Australia, and respected Central Council member, my elder brother, and today's chief guest, CA Anuj Goyal sir.
Thank you.
CA, today's moderator and my dear friend and regional council member, CA Abhishek ji Sharma, and viewers of this virtual meeting across the globe. A very warm welcome to all of you in this virtual meeting on global professional opportunity for chartered accountants in present scenario. First of all, I am thankful to CA Abhishek Sharma and our learned speaker and my elder brother Anuj Goyal ji for accepting my request to be part of this virtual program. Friends, at CIRC during this pandemic, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes.
Friends, at CIRC during this pandemic, we are trying to organize different type of programs for each subject, and we are committed to serve the profession members and the students. Friends, I wish to inform all the viewers across the globe that CIRC consists of 7 states, namely Rajasthan, UP, MP, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Uttarakhand. And it consists of more than 50,000 chartered accountants and 3 lakh CA students are from this region. Friends, in this pandemic, we have learned how to run virtual office and expand our services across the globe. In these states, number of chartered accountants are more as comparison to industrialization of these states. So due to high supply and low demand, we have to always think innovative and we have to think for other opportunities. And if you have a good connections across the globe, you may think for global opportunities like outsourcing of accountancy and other services. So since we have a very good panelist, so without taking much of your time, I conclude my address and I hand over the mic to MOC Abhishek Sharma ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Devendra ji, Chairman CIRC. You have rightly said CIRC is the biggest reason of this ICI, and fortunately, today all the learned panelists are belong to CIRC itself, to the CIRC program, and all the panelists are from CIRC itself. So let's go with the program. And now I invite C. Anuj Goyal, Central Council member and Chief Guest of the program, for his words of wisdom. C. Anuj Goyal, sir.
Thank you, C. Abhishek Sharma ji, our Honorable Moderator and Regional Council Member, Honorable Chairman of Central Region, my brother C. Devendra Somani ji, our leaders of the profession, our brand ambassadors in other parts of the world, C. Naveen Sharma ji from Dubai, C. Vijay Soni ji from Saudi Arabia, C. Abhinav Maru ji from Hong Kong, C. Vivek Agrawal ji from Australia, and C. Sumit Dadda ji, who has returned from the other parts of the world to Jaipur in India. So I welcome all of you, and I am quite confident that the chartered accountants, who are undoubtedly the best accounting professionals across the globe and are having the global presence, and as they are having the knowledge of the IFRS, they are having the knowledge of the international standards, and they are having very good knowledge of the international language English, so they can contribute in each and every part of the world. And at present, around 1 lakh chartered accountants, directly or indirectly, are contributing outside India. So I'm really very happy that we have chosen this topic, global professional opportunities for chartered accountants in present scenario. And now the chartered accountants, I think, can contribute through KPO, through knowledge process outsourcing, sitting at one place in any part of the world, and can contribute in other parts of the world. I think it is more important nowadays that instead of relocating ourselves in other parts of world, sitting in India itself, if we can grab the professional opportunities, and it can be a win-win situation. It can be a win-win situation for Naveen Sharma ji at Dubai, say some work which can be done in association with the chartered accountant sitting in India, because in India we can have other human resources at a cheaper rate, and the resources which are available in India are more intelligent, more dedicated, and they can contribute in a better manner. In the same way, I think in Saudi Arabia also we are having n number of chartered accountants. In Saudi Arabia and Dubai, in Gulf countries, we are having more than 10,000 chartered accountants directly contributing in that part of the world. And Hong Kong, now I think Hong Kong is struggling to come out of the catch of China. So I think it is very important that now how the chartered accountants can contribute in Hong Kong in the change scenario. Earlier, of course, it was controlled by United Kingdom. So now, what is the future of the Hong Kong? And in Australia, a lot number of chartered accountants are there in Australia. Australia is one destination which is dear, very dear for Indian chartered accountants. So now, what are the latest opportunities in Australia, and how the chartered accountants can contribute, either relocating to Australia or sitting in India, how we can contribute maybe in association with the chartered accountants there in Australia. So without taking your further time, I once again welcome all of you to this very important on global for taking this initiative. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, Anup sir. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. Definitely, all the members which we are connecting in the program across part of the world will be benefited due to this. Now, friends, let's start this program, this unique conceptual program in the series. Today, we have got connected chartered accountants from different parts of the world. As we have discussed earlier, from Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Australia, and from India itself, different panelists are there. So let's start the program, and let us know the different opportunities which are available in different countries. Let's start from India itself. From India, we are having with us CA Sumit Dadda. Let me tell you some brief about Sumit Dadda ji. Sumit ji is a chartered accountant 2003 batch, and he's a gold medalist in CA intermediate examination. He's a registered valuer from Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board, the managing partner of Dealers and Associates LLP. And he's worked with these MNCs, PwC India for 4 years. For 4 years, he worked with the KPMG Bahrain. And then he worked from some other industry in Bahrain and a subsidiary in UAE, different part of the industry. He's also independent director and audit committee chairman of a listed company in different companies and all. So overall, he's having a more than 17-year experience of India and working abroad. So, Sumiji here, before I start some question from you, so let us, our audience want to hear from you as you have worked across the globe in different countries and different position in various companies, in CA firms and in some other companies, manufacturing companies, some listed companies. So, what professional opportunities do you understand it is available to all the members present here in India itself? So, firstly, brief from your side itself. Over to you, Sumit Daddaji.
Thank you, CA Abhishek Sharma, Regional Council member and a very close friend of mine. CA Global Regional Council Chairman, CA Devendra Somani ji, and CA Anuj Goyal sir, Central Council member, and my learned fellow speakers across the globe. So I congratulate Abhishek for organizing such a program, which is a need of the hour. And now he has covered almost half the globe. So we have members from continents of Australia, we have from Asia, we are covering Hong Kong, and we have Middle East. So majority where maximum chartered accountants are there, you have covered, which will give a good insights to participants to know where we can move. A brief background of mine. So I worked few years in Jaipur before moving to Mumbai. Then I worked few years in Bahrain, almost 9 years. And then 2.5 years back, I moved back to India. Now I still have another connection with Bahrain. I frequently move to Bahrain, have some professional opportunities. Now let us understand first thing, Indian chartered accountants have so much of competence that wherever they go in the world, they make their mark. And the classic example would be all our other panelists who are actually working there. So see, for example, of Naveen Sharma ji working in Dubai at a very good position. See Vijay Soni ji from Jodhpur working in a very good position. Us from Bhilwara, Vijay ji working there. All members and Abhinav ji from Jaipur. So it is one thing we should be very clear. We can work anywhere in the world because your 3 years of articleship and your CA curriculum of ICI is so strong that nowhere you will get beaten. And I have the opportunity of interacting except Vivek ji, all speakers. Wherever I have seen them, they always with proud mention that I am an Indian chartered accountant, though they have taken so many other foreign degrees also, because our Indian CA degree is our base to grow. Now, you need to decide two things first. Do you want to move abroad or you need opportunities sitting in Jaipur or your hometown? So there can be two options. I want to move abroad. So if you want to move abroad, then the first thing you need to have is have a passport. That's on a lighter note. Okay, so you need to have a passport to move abroad. But now you need to decide which part of world I want to go. For example, if you go to Middle East, that is very near to India, almost like Indian environment, you don't feel out of place. What benefits you get in India? Exactly the same culture you get in Middle East, and there is not much difference. World over, accounting is not much difference. Nowadays, luckily, you have India's equivalent to IFRS in our curriculum. Earlier, we don't used to have India's in our curriculum, so it was a challenge for Indian chartered accountant to go abroad and work. Because what is the problem when I used to face? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पहले तो खुद के अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड हमारा आईसीए में समझ में नहीं आते, एटलीस्ट मैं मेरी बात कर रहा हूँ. द स्टैंडर्ड्स वर टफ एट टाइम्स. तो जब मुझे इंडिया के अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड समझ में नहीं आते, देन व्हेन आई एम मूविंग टू अब्रॉड, हाउ कैन आई लर्न आईएफआरएस? बट नाउ लकीली वी ऑल गॉट Indian standards, accounting standards equivalent to IFRS. So your transition is very easy. If you want to work into audit field or accountancy field, that is one. Second, you need to decide, if I don't want to go abroad, I want to still stay in Jaipur or India, and still I want to have some foreign connection work. There are a lot of opportunities. But now before that, what is the biggest problem? That means it is all. We think that first let the opportunity come, then I will start learning the process. That will never actually work in our career. If I want to work for abroad, I need to learn foreign accounting softwares. If I don't know Xero, if I don't know Zero, if I don't know Zoho, because the world will not work on your Tally or any other ERP. So we need to understand local accounting software is only good for India. But if I'm expecting an outsourcing work, I need to be prepared. So it's like a catch-22 situation. Should I first wait for the opportunities to come and then start preparing? Answer is then it will never actually happen. So we need to be very careful. We need to upgrade our skills. Now the time is to upgrade your skills. If you upgrade your skills, you can definitely go much higher. Now we need to decide what interests you. So for example, now what is the demand of the time? Traditional audit has actually gone, or even if not gone, in next 5 years, traditional audit will be removed. And I'm sure if you are reading international magazines, international materials, they will be soon coming with one IFC audit, which will cover entire accounting audit domain in one field. There are certain professionals I know in India, they are based in Bangalore, who are CA and CISA qualified. They have taken expertise in systems audit, and now they are traveling across the globe to do systems audit. And as Anuj Goyal sir has rightly mentioned, Indian chartered accountants, or the cost of hiring Indian chartered accountants can be economical as compared to hire a international or member or a chartered accountant foreigner. Become for everyone and quality of work. Forensic of the area audit can be one of the areas where you can think to grow, because forensic audit, systems audit can be done anywhere across the globe. That is your choice. If that can be taken care of, is the voice issue with everyone or only with few?
Yeah, it was that's bumbling like anything, but now it is getting correct. Okay, you can
That's okay.
continue, sir. Yeah.
Voice
Okay. Yeah. And now we need to understand the world has become like a global village. So many things are coming in. Recently, Middle East, which was considered to be a tax haven country since ages, have started VAT. And you'll be surprised, maximum number of firms opened in Middle East because of Indian chartered accountants who have set up firms there. I know a lot of Jaipur firms who have set up a license office or who have set up a partnership with CA firms in Dubai, and they are getting outsourcing work because their VAT, any chartered accountant who can learn Indian GST anywhere across the globe, he can handle VAT easily. And that is the reason you will see many chartered accountants have set up their practice only to cater Dubai, Saudi, Kuwait, such kind of Middle East countries, because their VAT has been in full swing. Bahrain recently started a VAT. Next year, it is expected Oman and Qatar to go for a VAT. It can be a huge opportunity. And and I'm sure you all will be aware, ICA India has prepared so much of material for VAT for ICA Dubai and other chapters. So it is very easy for us to learn. So if I really want to practice in VAT for these countries, I just need to go our ICA website, download all the materials and take from there. Second, forensic, as I mentioned, now due to increasing frauds, globally frauds are happening. CFE, ICA, FAFD, there are few courses which can give you a huge wings. And we need to understand one thing. What is your objective? Do you want to sell five Oppo phones in a month or one iPhone in a month? The call needs to be taken by you. So that means, should I do a general practice and earn income? It's your choice. Or should I specialize in one particular area and build according to my capabilities? To me personally, now a time has come for specialization, and you need to choose the field where you can leverage, because advisory, consultancy, every client will love, because there you're actually adding some value to him. But when I say client, I want to do your stat audit, I will add value. Think, if you are a client, what you will say? You are not adding any value. Just because it's a statutory compliance, I'm forced to do it. So client will love to pay for things which he thinks you are adding value. So my advice personally would be to start thinking. Here I'm not saying audit is not good, but here I'm saying the value will be much higher if you give a consultancy or add value. And as our ICI theme this year is that instead of becoming accounting service provider or audit service provider, we should become a business service provider. So if you can start working on that. Third, one thing which we need to understand, if I just say all the 5 panelists here who are here that, sir, I am Indian chartered accountant, give me work, will they immediately give me? Answer is no. I need to earn a trust, because globally trust is the biggest issue. If I have a trust on you, I can give work anytime. If I don't trust on you, how can I give work? So to get a trust, I need to get the skills. So I need to tell the foreign counterparts. Okay, sir, I have a office which is a fully integrated system. I have Microsoft Teams, I have Slack, or I have any secured environment where your data can be secured. Because globally in India, we may not be as much as finicky on data security, but if you ask from global participants, from them, data security and privacy is the most important thing. So if you do not provide those kind of things, the work will not flow to you. And you need software. Actually, a lot of websites are doing free learning of softwares. And if you learn free software, at least you can get a credential to show that yes, I know a lot of softwares are with me. I can deliver results. So that is the way you can grow. And if needed be, you need to make one visit abroad or wherever country you like to get outsourcing work, and works are coming. I know a lot of chartered accountants travel to Middle East or to travel to South Africa or African continent to get a lot of work, because there they don't have enough professionals to deliver. And I have almost traveled 15 to 20 countries in personal and professional reasons. Wherever I go, every country, every government respects Indian chartered accountants. And I can personally witness, because I was there in Bahrain, wherever the National Day happens of Bahrain, the finance minister of Bahrain always used to mention in his speech that I like to thank Indian chartered accountants for making our country run better. Because majority of the places you will find globally, Indian CAs are handling good positions. Second, now I need to think, do I look for audit or GST, or I can go into more advisory? Example, now or risk and compliance, or succession planning, or portfolio management. So there are a lot of foreigners or a lot of Indians. So let's say Naveen ji and in India. Now they are away from India, so they need some consultants who can at least deploy their money. And if you can have a knack of stock market, you can become a registered portfolio advisor. It's a huge opportunity, because a lot of people are investing in India, because the kind of stock market returns gives in India, globally no other market gives that kind of return. So there are huge opportunities to think. And I always say, should you wait for the opportunities or create other opportunities? Choice is always yours. You should always create opportunities, because if I wait for the opportunity, I will only get what I create opportunities, and early mover will always get advantage. So we need to pre-think what is coming in future. Now this time online everything is happening. World over, people are transferring accounts, people are doing a lot of business. Jaipur, I know there are a lot of firms who are doing outsourcing work of Australia, because we have a time difference, so that always gives an edge. Canada, a lot of people are working in Jodhpur. So place is not a constraint. If I say I'm sitting in Jodhpur, Bikaner, Churu, that constraint has gone. My last word advice would be again and again, जिस तरह से हम लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा पहले करते हैं, happy, and then Lakshmi ji comes, Saraswati ji की पूजा भी हमें पहले करनी पड़ेगी. So we need to learn and upgrade ourselves first before we expect that I know. Because why I'm again repeating same and same, because last 2 months of this lockdown, I have attended so many seminars, and our past president Talati ji has mentioned, it becomes at times big issue when we Indian CAs boast to foreign parties that yes sir, we can do the work. We take the work because we have a habit. एक बार काम ले लो, फिर करवा किसी से भी लेंगे. That approach does not work in dealing with foreign parties. They need to have comfort on you. So if you can demonstrate and if you can learn before that, I know it will involve your expenditure. You need to spend first, but eventually, if you take risk and spend, you might get a lot of opportunities. I think Abhishek, that should be sufficient for as of now.
Yes, sir. Yes, Sumitji, you have rightly mentioned that there are a lot of fields where we chartered accountants can work. Someone can work in the audit field, can portfolio
Abhishek,
management.
one query I want to make from Sumit ji. What are the prospects of the chartered accountants relocating to New Zealand?
Sir, we have a chapter near New Zealand. We have a chapter in Ireland and other places. There are government appoints government, their local government takes Indian chartered accountants because we are very good at number crunchers. The kind of budgets and the kind of MIS planning we do, so there is a huge opportunity. The only problem, yeah, only drawback of these countries are the environment is entirely huge. So if you shift to, let's say, for example, if you should shift to Middle East, you will feel the same. You will have the same hot, same humidity, same, just like you have a temperature of 50 degree in India, they also have a temperature of 50 degree in India, though they don't have that much rains. But the problem of other countries is at times sociological. So there is one of my friend who shifted to Denmark. The problem with Denmark is it has a social conditions are not so good. So for example, your day will end at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock you need to go home because the night starts falling fast. So you may not be an habitual to. So psychologically it's a issue. Otherwise, world over, we have no issues. And luckily, the accounting standards are almost same globally. New Zealand follow IFRS, so there is not much difference. There is one Mr. Chaturvedi. He is in New Zealand from ICI. One of the members I know probably there. So you need just need to is one thing. Now your
Yeah.
Indian degree is more than sufficient Indian degree. But if you really want to settle abroad, so if I want to, let's say, settle Australia, or if I want to settle Canada, our IC has done such a tremendous, remarkable job that they have made MOUs with almost all the countries. You just need to give 2-3 papers in Australia, you can become Australia Chartered Accountants. Give one set of final paper in Canada, you will become a Canadian Chartered Accountant. We are just signed an agreement yesterday, last week in South Africa. So your global degrees can be very well, because if I want to stay in Australia, they will say you should have a local Australian CPA. Then only I will give you a job, and which is fair enough. So if you take these kind of degrees, it is very easy, and you can get a lot of opportunities. Recently, and if those who are interested to move to Australia, recently there has been a discount given by Australia chapter with ICI. If in the lockdown period, if you register, you can, it will be a much economical for you to take a membership. You can take a membership of Australia CPA sitting in Jaipur and during this period. So that's the opportunity you should think to take.
And for New Zealand, one is to get the membership of that part.
That part, yes sir, yes sir, you need to have that part. Yeah. And but I'm sure Naveen ji and Soni ji will agree with me. Those who are Saudi and Dubai, your Indian CA degree is much respected there. You don't
Yes,
need to take.
Right.
Sir?
Yes, there is no there is no institute, accounting institute of UAE government and Saudi. So
Yes.
by default, chartered account, our institute is the only institute which is available.
Yes.
And secondly, Dubai has the regional office. ICA has only one office, if I'm right, outside India, which is in Dubai, and that is for the last 15 years.
True. Thank you, Naveen ji. Thank you, Sumit ji, for sharing your initial remarks. What a fresh started accountant can work in different parts of the world, and how we can look for the work abroad. Though we are having a panel discussion in the last, once every participant, every panelist will speak for some minutes. He will brief about professional opportunity in his country. Then in the last, we will have some panel discussion, panel questions. But one question I want to ask from you, Sumit ji, whether will Indian CA can adopt the foreign accounting system? Whether we are comfortable to adopt the foreign accounting system, whether it will work, Sumit ji?
Abhishek ji, it is very easy for us to adopt India foreign accounting system. The systems are much easier. See, till you have not read, for example, Abhishek ji, you are dealing into foreign trade policy. Okay, was it very difficult, or you think it's okay? What do you think? For you now, it would be easy because you are dealing with. So if you ask me, I think it is difficult because I am not dealing it. Our problem was we have not read AS or Ind AS, so then we thought it is difficult. But if you read your Indian accounting standard, Ind AS, our ICI has worked so better in that compendium that they've given differences in the last summarized page, that what is the difference between your Ind AS and IFRS. So it is very easy for you to grasp and move accordingly. And globally, if you have anybody who can pass Indian Chartered Accountant exam, world over can understand any accounting system. We can learn from Tally to SAP to any ERP, customized ERP. And I'm sure Vivek ji from Australia can very well answer on this, because he would have been from Indian CA, now working in CP Australia. Probably he would have much practical exposure on this issue.
True, true. Thank you, Sumit ji. So, friends, it is very much clear that then a person who is an Indian chartered accountant, and we have undergo in a training system, we have undergo in some sort of educational training, and this book education like this in the CA course itself, that our knowledge, our bookish knowledge, our practical knowledge is like that. We can accommodate ourselves with any part of the foreign accounting system. It's not going to be a difficult part of us. Thank you, Sumit ji. We'll come to you later in the panel answer questions. Thank you. Friends, our next panelist is CA Naveen Sharma. He is from Dubai itself, and he is a chartered accountant of 1990 batch. Presently, he's more than 20 years, since less than 22 years, he's at Dubai itself, and he's a director of internal audit at Oasis Investment Company LLC at Shirvai Group, one of the largest conglomerate based in Dubai. And as far as degree is concerned, he's having a degree of chartered accountancy itself. He's also a company secretary. He's a CPA. He's a CIA. He's a CISA from USA. He's a CFA from CFA. So whatever I can say, the global degrees, whatever required, he have taken himself in the finance field. But still, he's working as a chartered accountant. That is the most important part. That the CA degree is giving a fruitful result to him. I think my voice is coming to all.
Yes.
Most important is Naveen ji is past chairman of the ICAI Dubai chapter. I've seen him working in the Dubai chapter itself and seen his dedication towards ICAI, whatever he have done as a president of the Dubai chapter in the different position. He worked as a 5 years in the Dubai chapter itself. And he's also a president of head of accounting audit advisory group of focus group AAA of Indian Business and Professional Council IBPC. Established in the year 2003, which is the oldest and largest association of Indian businessmen and professionals. He is also the Honorable Cultural Event Secretary of Indian Club Dubai, which is the largest organization of Indian outside India, and established 60 years back. Presently, he is also the president of Rajasthan Business Professional Group RBPG, the first and only the official registered June 2018 entity with the government of UAE, and it is the duly registered association of people of Rajasthani origin living or working in UAE, and he is helping them not only across the Rajasthan. I've seen him practically helping the professionals across the India, and whoever approached to him for any type of assistance for some professional guideline, any ruling about that country in which he's working, Dubai, and he is like kind enough to help all and each person who is approaching to him. And with these much, I'm having a lot of to say him about his profile. But here the time to listen Naveen ji. And recently, friend, let me share you one today before himself, he assisted to come up with flight of more than 170 or 200% from Dubai itself to India and most different parts of the CIRC, Rajasthan, other parts. So he's managing all these things, and let's listen the privilege. Let's have the privilege to listen our own CA Naveen Sharma sir. Naveen ji, kindly explain the professional opportunity available in Dubai presently to the person who wants to go there for a job itself, or who want to do practice there in the present scenario. Over to you, Naveen ji.
Thank you, Abhishek ji, for the kind introduction. I don't deserve so much. It's your love. And CA Anuj Goyal ji, Central Council member and close friend. CA Devendra Somani ji, Chairman CIRC. And we have with us Mr. CA Abhinav Maru from Hong Kong, and CA Vivek Agrawal from Australia, and CA Vijay Soni ji, which we keep meeting in different seminars, and of course CA Sumit Dadda. I always feel that he is from Middle East and from India, so he has the experience, very rare experience of knowing the Middle East as well as India, and very helpful to everyone. Good afternoon. I am in Dubai for the past 22 years. 22 years is a long period of time. And as Mr. Sumit has rightly mentioned, that Middle East has undergone a tremendous change. In fact, 2 years ago, when I was the chairman of ICAI Dubai chapter, we approached Indian ICAI India and said, why don't you start a course which is not for Indian Chartered Accountant. And this is not a course which is not for 99.99% Chartered Accountant of the world, but only 0.01% Chartered Accountant. And ICAI Dubai chapter, they asked me to make a presentation in the Central Council meeting, which I did. And thereafter, a course is approved about the VAT in UAE, which Mr. Sumit Dadda has explained. And that is the starting of a tax regime in this part of the world. I have seen Mr. Abhishek Sharma ji coming from all the way from Jaipur for the professional work. So as other chartered accountant came and set up the businesses, and as always happen, from Dubai base, they are going to the other countries. They are now moving to Bahrain, where the VAT, which is equivalent to the GST, is implemented. Now it is implemented where Mr. CA Vijay Soni ji is there in Saudi Arabia, and it will implement in other part of the GCC and will go to the African continent, Northern Africa. So opening up of tax regime in the Gulf is something was not thinkable when I came 22 years back. In fact, you will see how much the need of the government for the money as far as the tax is concerned. In Saudi Arabia, from 1st of July, the VAT, or which is GST, is tripled. It has now from 15% made to 15%. So how vital it is for the government, that kind of revenue. So taxation in this part of the world is going to stay. And I directly jump to on the taxation side, because we Indian Chartered Accountant is much ahead. Luckily, India implemented 6 months ago in 1st July 2018, if I'm right, or 17, the GST. And luckily or non-luckily, our country has some advantage because of our GST. It's so complicated that giving the advice in the Indian UAE VAT is very easy. So we have the unique advantage of passing a very difficult exam, which we all did, and we don't need once you are a chartered accountant. Like when I was a chartered accountant, I did in 1990, and thereafter getting 5-6 degrees was not difficult, because CISA, you must have, a lot of people must have done CIA or CPA, all easy. But it helps to connect with the other community, understanding the international environment. So UAE is, I can say, is a balcony of opportunities are there at this point of time, because what we are aware about the opening up of the tax, which is the indirect tax, which is the VAT, but not many people are aware that the OECD guidelines, like the transfer pricing, which is in India for the last 20 years, 15 years, is being rolled out also. On 30th of June, few days back, everybody in this country has complied the economic substance law, which is a lot of opportunity. And see the volume where 100% people, if you have a license, you have to say whether this law is applicable to you or not. So whenever something first time cover, it gives a lot of opportunity to everyone. So the ESR has come. Now the transfer pricing is implemented already in Saudi Arabia, and it is being rolled out in the other part of the world. So the regime, this VAT is a starting point, but it is going one after the another, and this country is becoming more and more regulated. And as I said, this is a very essential part of the government spending. It's not something new. Some people say it's a matter of time, tax will come, income tax will come. I'm not sure whether this is right and wrong, but the big firms from other part of India started setting up their own shop or companies over here. This is about when you want to expand your practice, when you feel that you can add some value, because taxation we are reading for in our exams and much before in BCom as well. CA is one of the toughest exam. Still, it has a lot of value. Value in this sense is not eroded over time. When I did in 1990 and today, the quality is becoming better and better every year. It's not deteriorated. I've seen in other professionals, a lot of people are coming, but the quality is deteriorated. It's not happening with our profession. And thanks for the institute and the leaders like you who still taking the quality up and up. If you are planning to come to Gulf, I will be very honest with you, because what Mr. Sumit has covered, I will try not to cover that and give you some other information. based on my 22 years of experience in Dubai. If you are planning to come in Gulf, earlier it was all employment. But now the employment and practice, both options are available. So if you want to come to Dubai, then you can go to Oman. If you go to Oman, where the law will come in 1 year or 2 years time, you are 6 to 8 months ahead. Or you can go to Saudi Arabia, where although it's a slightly difficult market than Dubai, and Mr. Vijay, my colleague, will give more information on it. But if you're planning to come to Dubai, then you can now have the option of practice, or you have the option of employment. If you are going for the employment, I think what is important in this part of the world is that we need to have, other than the degrees which we all are CAs, I say if you want to add something, it is up to you. If you do not want to add, it is up to you, because CA is sufficient. But we need to improve our English. And I'm very serious about it, because in Dubai, there are around 200 nationalities are living side by side. So it is highly unlikely that we will have the environment which is, and this is the CIRC, which is hardcore Hindi heartland. Because when I go to Jaipur, and by mistake, if I start speaking in English, after 2-3 minutes, I realize that I am making mistake. So it is good to speak your own mother tongue, but it's very important that we speak good English and international English. So if you want to, and you know, in our profession, improvement is the way of life. If we don't improve ourselves, we are reducing our employability. So pay attention about your leadership roles. You must have seen by 10-12 years back, when my son has joined the Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster is the leadership role and the communication track which we need. Knowledge, I can guarantee you that no one has a better knowledge than Indian Chartered Accountant. You have passed one of the toughest exams in the world. What you need is some polishing. If you are already top of the world, please ignore my advice, but pay attention about improvement in the English language, both writing as well as speaking. Secondly, we Indians, in personally, and don't take it otherwise as well, we speak very fast. But when you interact with the international community, we have to ensure that we are audible, we understand, they understand what we are doing. Because when you start dealing with Arabs, you start dealing with the Europeans, when you start dealing with other people, we need to slightly adjust ourselves. And this is the skill. If you will learn, over the years you will learn, but we will be wasting our time in learning. And you know that we have limited time till 65, 70, we all have to work. Sometimes we feel this is a lot of work, but I don't know when 22 years have passed in my life, and we have very limited time. So this is the English language and the leadership, which I feel we all have to pay attention. Secondly, about the ERP. Now, ERP, I will go beyond the ERP. Nowadays, what is happening, wherever you go and work, in any part of the world, if you are in the employment or in practice, what you have to do is you have to reduce the cost, make the systems more robust, and that will be on and on. I am doing for the past 22 years, but it is increasing. So you have to learn. There are two softwares in the world, in my opinion. One is Oracle, another is SAP. If you are thinking to go to outside world, just pay attention to the Oracle and pay attention to the SAP. And if you are fortunate enough to work in the companies which employ these two softwares, you will fly in your life, I can tell you for sure. So Oracle has, there are Oracle universities there. There is a SAP course are happening, and you will see the CISA, even our institute has come out with so many guidelines as far as these ERP systems are concerned. Now, do not restrict yourself to the accounting softwares, because accounting is a very subset. We have to cover the manufacturing, logistics, IT, and other part. So you have to be on top of the IT revolution which is taking place. So IT is no longer a support function. Accounting, in my opinion, for the last 30 years is a supporting function. But IT is a business. And if in any business, IT is not a business, that company will lose out. And you must have seen that today one of the biggest company were not there 25 years back. So the change is permanent, and we have to ensure that our company is adopting the right businesses. So this is what I feel is very important. You must have seen our institute has tied up now with the IIMs. Even they are starting a course with the Harvard. These internationalization and the branding will help you in a long way. So that will go for a long way to go. Secondly, I should not say, but I want to be as honest as possible. I see that our first thing, what we all are a salesman. Salesman in the sense, you have to tell that you have a good CV, you have the right skills, and you can do the job. So it means you means physical you as well. So you take care of your biggest machinery, which is your body. And although we study a lot, we do a lot, but you should be presentable. It's very important we are presentable, both physically, both verbal and non-verbal. So pay the attention on these things. And I can tell you that the Middle East is growing, is one of the fastest growing region in the world. Money is not the issue. And one of the few regions left out where there is no income tax. I have become used to of getting 100 salary and coming to the 100. When I ask my son who is in the US, he says, I am paying 50%. And believe me, the taxation is a reality in all the part of the world. So this region gives a lot of things. Mr. Sumit said about the CAs. I can tell you 7,200 CAs as per the LinkedIn are in UAE itself. And in my opinion, Indian chartered accountant are close to 20,000. And if you have a bug or if you want to do the business, this region is giving you the gateway to the Northern Africa. It is also giving you the fastest growing population in the world. If you will see in this part of the world and the other parts, even the requirement of vegetables to air conditioning is too much. So you not only have the professional opportunity, you have the business opportunity. But what we need is a thinking, whether I want to go for employment or whether I want to go first the employment, then to the practice, because the opening of the taxation and opening of the economy, now you will see the investments. Investments are taking place left, right, and center. You name the Indian company, it's here. If you say the Reliance is here, if you say the Tata is there, banks are, so many banks are here. So, and Indians are well respected. If you will see the Indians world over, you finding a place where Indians are not thriving are very little. So, and my colleague in Vivek and Abhinav will tell you that side of the story. But Indians are doing very well. We are professionally very qualified. We have the luxury of not doing any other institute. If you will go to US, you go to Canada, you say or you don't say, but at the end of the day, you have to pass their exams. You have to fulfill their requirements about the CPE. But in Gulf, zero requirement, zero taxation, and it's very near to India. I can say after Mumbai, Dubai is the only place which goes to the maximum cities in India. Like for a city, Jaipur, we have 3 flights daily coming. And 22 years back when I came, there was 0 flight. So it's well connected and well known, and it's non. And this region is deep into the money, and they have the reserve for another 100 years. So this is, I will be short, and I think the rest of the things is already covered by Mr. Sumit. If you have any question, I am available.
Thank you, Naveen-ji. As we all understand that nowadays, Dubai is known for its infrastructure. And whenever I have visited personally, or any of one of my friends who have visited there for some professional purpose or for some tourist purpose, they all will find a lot of the big infrastructure. Every time we visit to Dubai, we find some new infrastructure which was not available earlier in our visit. And we understand that more than 85% of people residing there are expats, and local person is only about 14 to 15% local citizens are there. One more thing I want to ask from you, though we will have a panel discussion in the end, but one question directly coming to my mind, sir, that presently in last 3-4 months, what I understand, I came to know that this Dubai government are inviting investment from across the globe. Every part of the world, they want to get investment in Dubai itself, because Dubai is growing, it's rapidly growing rather. So they have also reduced the cost of establishing a company there. Whether I want to establish my company in the mainland or free zone, the government have reduced the cost. Could you elaborate, sir, about this?
Yeah, I will see. Dubai government is like your own house. They have reduced their costs in the last 2.5 years, almost 40%. So they have reduced electricity charges. They have reduced the fees they were charging. Earlier, the revenue, this is a very good question. Earlier, the revenue was fees based. They have to charge fees for everything. They have to charge fees for opening the company, transfer the company, visa and other. Now from fees based, it has become a tax base. So now their source of revenue is tax. So what Dubai is doing, they are reducing the fees and increasing the tax. So that's why the tax has come. So that is good for us, because if you see that the two tax which has come and cover 100% business unit all over the Dubai is a tremendous boost for our profession. And now the economy substance, which is the first part, has come for the notification. Everybody, if you have a small shop also, you have to give the notification, and that is a source of revenue. And once an Indian CA is going for consulting, say filing the VAT return, then somebody need accounting systems, somebody need the accounts to be maintained. And here there is no, it's not compulsory to follow A rules or B rules, it's open. So what is happening, once you need not to invest your energy in doing a company's CPAs or XYZ, you can think what you can do. And Dubai, I will also tell you one thing, is Dubai's success is only based on innovation. If they will give you more money than your home country, only then will come. 2.5 hours, there is a 3 hours flight from Jaipur. Now, if I will not earn more than the Jaipur, why I will come here? So they have to give you more money, number one. They have to give you more infrastructure. Now you have seen the temple is coming in the Abu Dhabi, which people like Mr. Soni Saab will tell you was impossible to think when I came, that a temple, one of the largest temple, with the help of the government will come. Even the Prime Minister Modi has come twice, because Dubai is no longer is going for once in a year time. Now people are coming every month. In Bombay, there is a 6 flight in the morning to come at the same time. 6 flight. So people are coming in the morning and going in the evening, because you know the Indian businessman, they know where they can save the money. And then people are going for wedding. This is becoming the wedding destination. And if you want to enjoy the Bollywood and meet the Bollywood stars, you have to come to Dubai. Because if you from Abhishek Bachchan to Aishwarya Rai, all have the houses in Palm and other part of the Dubai, but you have to be patient. Now things may go down, and when there is an international crisis, every country is crying. Dubai will be part of it. But when the country and the leadership is pushing for the growth, then you know that Dubai is nothing but business. And by the way, the ICI Dubai chapter is the largest association in the country. Like if you will say in Jaipur, ICI has the chapter, then the other engineers have the chapter, other people have the chapter. But here it's so regulated that ICI Dubai chapter is the largest largest association in Dubai and the richest in the world. If you see the annual conference of ICI Dubai chapter, if some of you have attended, has more glamour than the Indian. I should not be comparing, but I have to tell you the facts. And I'm sorry if I hurt anyone by saying the truth, but this is the way the Dubai has to do. So Dubai has to ahead in innovation, give you the more money, then only then people will come. And now they realize they need to give you the freedom. You need to have your own place of work, your place of worship. So that is also is happening. A lot is happening in this region, and it's open for everyone. And I think Indian chartered accountants are well placed to take the advantage.
True, sir. True. We understand that Dubai is coming like anything, and you said that Dubai is for the business, so it's itself defining its meaning. Whether if want to raise its business, there are global opportunity are there in the Dubai itself. And this is an important thing is that while going to Dubai and while working at Dubai, you are well connected through other parts of the world also. This is the opportunity what you have working in the Dubai itself. And we understand that after coming to the West, this accounting part, that accounting work, which earlier most of the industries were not taking care of, that is also becoming as some new professional opportunity. It's coming like anything. And now banks are also following for the various limits. for which
That's
banks
correct.
were not following earlier by following some international guidelines, IMF and all. So that is again, every industry is now going to prepare its own balance sheet and all. So for that purposes, apart from the audit, they also need accountants to prepare their books of accounts. So that is also a good scope, attractive scope of what an Indian accountant can look for.
Yeah. And so if you have any more questions, we are available. Even the chapter XCOM is very active, and we all are available. And every year, a lot of Central Council members, even the president also coming, president, vice president twice in this region. In fact, today, our president will address the Dubai chapter in the afternoon. So these are the few things. If you have any specific question, and if I missed out something, please let me know. I try not to repeat what Mr. Sumit has said.
True. A lot of questions that we are having, but we come to the question answer later on in the panel discussion. Thank you very much, Naveen sir, for this wonderful short elaboration.
Thank you.
Friends, we have heard Naveen Sharma sir from Dubai, and he has spoken about the opportunities available in the Dubai for the professionals. Now it's time to speak to Mr. Vijay Soni. He is from Saudi Arabia. And let me introduce about Mr. Vijay Soni. He's the president of IMA WP chapter, Saudi Arabia. He's the executive member of Saudi Indian Business Network, Indian Consulate, Jeddah, which is supporting bilateral trade and investment between India and Saudi Arabia. He's a CFO with a leading manufacturing company in Jeddah. He's a regular speaker over Business Matter. And again, he's having a lot of big profile he's having to say. But here we are having very limited time. So with the short profile, I will request Vijay Soni ji to kindly elaborate what are the professional opportunities presently available in Saudi Arabia itself as far as members in practice is concerned or members in job is concerned. Over to you, Vijay Soni sir.
Thank you, Abhishek, Anuji, Naveenji, and my all colleagues. It's great pleasure to address my own brothers and colleagues who are sitting across the globe and share my experience with Saudi Arabia, one of the largest region in Middle East. Abhijit ji, I just want you to allow me to share a screen so that I can just share a few slides.
Kindly share.
Sure. No, it's not allowing. You just click on my name.
Kindly make him the co-host, please.
Okay. Meanwhile, you are sharing the screen rights. Okay, as available.
Yeah.
Friends, I actually Naveenji and my Sumit has covered a lot. What preparations are required to go out of India, whether it is Saudi Arabia or any part of the world. One of the points which I liked very much, I'm going to elaborate it later on more. I'm getting in many calls from India. They say we want to provide these outsourcing services to Saudi Arabia. We want to provide services, and we all face one issue. Okay, you want to provide these services. How you are going to give a confidence to the other party who is seeking services that you are capable of providing services to his expectation. You may be, but he should be buying your idea. That's one of the major challenge everybody is facing. So we can discuss more on that. Before that, just want to give a glimpse, what Saudi Arabia, Dubai, everybody is talking about Dubai, and Dubai, as we talk, we say it is something like better managed Mumbai. So it's very easy for Indians or any part of world people to understand Dubai. But Saudi Arabia, when come to Saudi Arabia, I think many of us maybe not knowing precisely, what opportunity this economy provides to India. Of course, this is one of the largest population as well as economy of Middle East. Huge land area divided into few regions, mainly 3 regions we call it. And this economy is definitely based on oil. Few data are there which you can see over your screen, which talks about its population. Again, largest portion of population among expats, means foreigners, is dominated by Indians. So that's a matter of proud. We want that same to carry forward. Even among, if you talk about foreign labor, officials. Here, locals are having more trust towards Indian compared to other nationality. That's the general phenomena. They are coming to natural resources, second largest oil producer in the world. We have seen the oil prices moving from this north to south and south to north pole, how it creates a problem for anybody, you can imagine it. Again, for Indians, this is the second largest employment provider country. Yes, but saying all those things, this also carries certain challenges which we have to look into it. Before that, let me just see this in my next slide. If you see this Saudi Arabian oil revenue proportion, it used to have almost more than 90% of its revenue from oil market. Of the late, government has been trying to find out new venues, and today it close to about 2/3 of the revenue comes from oil or related to oil industry. That's the percentage why you can see this graph. I just want to share a concern. What, even if you, let's say, any government or individual is there who was selling his oil at $120 once upon a time, and suddenly we have seen last month that oil was traded negative price. Over history, we have never seen that commodity going negative pricing. We have witnessed it. Of course, it was in futures, not on a spot, but that's history has been created. Right now, yes, again, it is sustainable nearby $40. So I will say it's not so much worrisome, but when we tested $120, we have created our budget at $60 or so, and today you are prevailing at $40. That also you don't have confidence whether you are going to continue this $40 pricing in a current scenario where everybody is suffering because of a pandemic of COVID and challenges. You can see lockdowns are there. India, we have already seen many issues. Similar issues we are seeing in Saudi Arabia. Today, we are having more than 200,000 cases registered with a population of only 3 crores. You can say in that numbers talks about how Helia, they're one of the business called is controlling almost, I will have 60% of all the outlets. He says in 90% revenue has been evaporated. So that's the challenge. You can see what retail sector has faced and is going to continue to face for coming period of time. So I say these issues are common everywhere else. The thing is coming, who can understand this better than chartered accountant? I don't think any other professional will be having that much predictability that, yeah, today what situation we are facing. And in that situation, what you are going to do as an individual or as a government, we try to find out new source of revenue, avenues where my population can be busy in business activity, social activity. At the well, also government also run their governance requirements, so they also require revenue. Friends, this subject is not today's subject. Government has already realized that they cannot depend everything on oil. They have to increase the basket and bring out the new source of revenue. With that, they are promoting private industry. Taxation, as we said, Saudi Arabia was the, I will say, most favored. Only main reason was hardly no taxation at all. Cheaper energy price. You can say petrol was cheaper than water even today. So you might see many energy heavy industries has put up their base in Saudi Arabia because energy is very cheap and no changes in pricing. Talk about taxation, VAT, my friend Mr. Naveen already elaborated that Saudi Arabia recently tripled VAT rate. You can't hear this type of news anywhere else in the world other than when it is a monarchy or kingdom where decisions are taken and implemented. There is no discussion further on that. So you can see that when people are already facing pandemic issue, businesses are having lack of business, and suddenly rate is increased from 5 to 15%. I say that's one side, but second side is, yes, they don't have any chance. They have to find out a way. We have seen excise duty also implemented 50 to 100%. Again, it's one short decision. We are going to witness more of such regulations. Message is, this country is no longer going to remain a tax-free zone. Who is having better exposure to tax issues, governance? If you implement one taxation, you can understand how much work is created. People were not aware of taxation system in 2018 about VAT. VAT is equivalent to GST. They were saying what this tax is, how we are going to follow it, the governance, what structure we have to create, how we are set up our ERP, how we are going to deal government. On the other side, government officials were also not aware how we are going to follow up. But things are settling. Yeah, it would have been better that advisors to governments were from west side. I wish that in future or ICI can pitch in and they say, yeah, we are more close to the region, or culture, or thinking, or knowledge, much better aligned to this region than any other part of the world. If that comes, friends, if you are involved in policy making decision itself, you can understand what amount of work would have flown to India. That I am talking of regulatory part. But yes, in spite of that, many of my friends I know who has come and who advise many of clients on VAT implementation and continue to do so. So that's one of the area what I'm saying is taxation is area where we can really think hard how we can support. I just want to allow one thing here. You cannot think that taxation means I can give tax advisory per se. Saudi Arabia is a different country. It has certain regulatory requirement where it says you cannot face a tax official as a foreigner. Only Saudi can face Saudi tax officials. So that means you have to have a combination whereby you have to use local fronting agency and you support it. Yes, you can support businesses and back office, or queries are coming from officials, how to deal with it. I want to add one more thing in that is, there are, as you know, all here everybody's majority using SAP or Oracle ERP. I'm talking about big businesses, houses. They also face problem, tax reporting are different requirement. In India, people are keeping complex structure where you can create different tax books and normal financial books. Can we bring out some solution? Like in India, we are having many small utility packages. We can say, hang on, don't worry about your tax compliances. We will bring this system, we will hook it. This will pull out data from your ERP and give you the required output. If you can do it, yes, definitely people will love to take it. But in that, one more challenge will come, language. Here, all regulatory requirement must fulfill Arabic requirements. So we require Arabic support. So we have to inbuild our capability in Arabic language so that we can become, like a homely, yes, don't worry, we are here to serve you, and as good as you are, we are talking about next door professional. Another issue what we have faced is, when our colleague come from India, they talk about, okay, we have 20 people working in my firm, they are having these credentials, please give me work, I can serve it. I told, see, I have a work assignment. Can you satisfy the person who want to give assignment that you are able to give him comfort on security and your preparedness? He said, yes, I can give you brochure. The brochure is not sufficient. You have to come and meet him. He said, I have 10 guys. So the big guy may say, I have 20 guys equivalent to you working for me as an employee. So you have to break that chain. Either you come with a specialized product or you show a bigger picture. See, I have this much. Don't worry. I am not lower than any European face. If we can create that structure, I'm telling you, friends, outsourcing has just begun from this region. Already big people have started moving their processes to India, to Chennai, to Gurgaon. I know a couple of them. And what challenges they face, similar issues were there. And they sideline all these smaller, but they have sidelined even European vendors and they went to India. So that it's not a new domain for this part of the world to test India. But yes, think we require to present ourselves for a specific task with full preparedness. And then definitely it's a much, much better market. Yes, friend, Dubai, everybody knows if you have one concern, 10 consultants are next day available to that site. Saudi Arabia is different call. One company was asking me, can you suggest me some of the reliable service provider? I said that query to few of my known circles. They have not attended that query for 15 days. Same query they will handle for Dubai in hours. These are the challenges and issues which we have to tackle it. Yes, new areas which are coming up. You can see entertainment never was heard in Saudi Arabia. They have opened, they are coming big way. Again, which is the best way? You go to a market when it is already matured, crowded. Yes, when it is crowded and matured and tested, it's very easy to sell your services. But when a market is coming up as a new baby, it has different requirement, but it also gives you a lot of opportunity, easy entry. Yes, some barriers are there, but once you cross those barriers, you can think of these are areas which still, I will say, very limited tapped in, and India can play a major role. Entertainment, I have seen still Europeans are taking lead. I have not seen big company coming to Saudi. If they comes, Bollywood or Hollywood, we can compare everything. Women's empowerment, again, they have aspiration. Youth want entertainment. They want to go out. And that's the way government has realized. That's why they're saying we want to encourage these things. Friends, why I'm saying all those things is, if it is back of mind, what this country or economy is looking forward in, then as a CA, we can think about. First, I know what is requirement of this region. Then I can make out my choice that which domain I want to go. Whether I want to go for my professional services, which has many parts. Yes, tax advisory support. Yes, tax, again, you can be advisor. You cannot be front runner. Audit support, again, audit you cannot do, but you can support audit offices. Because everybody is now today looking for more efficient working at reduced cost. That you can provide, say, it's not cost comes secondary. First is I can provide you better services. CFOs, for example, if people are in employment, they're looking for whether I can give my some data analytics job to some of the chartered accountant. Go in evening my home, evening morning I come, I have my dashboard ready. He will love it. But only thing, again, he should have comfort that what I'm going to get, it is secured and I will get in a desired way. Certain issue things are there. My favorite area, yes, these are, or generally CAs are capable to provide all these services. I just say nicely it's required to pack and give the comfort to the receiving party. We are also getting, I just introduced that I'm associated with Saudi Indian Business Network, whereby we enjoy talking to many investors, whether it is from India or Saudi Arabia. They want to know more areas to invest in India. They say, who can support me? Friends, I'm telling who can be better than chartered accountant. They go with friends or some relatives advice who doesn't know ABCD of the business domain. They invest, they burn their finger, then those bad rumors are spread in market. Because one guy, if loses even, let's say, 100 rupee, you are going to have negative publicity. Whether we can stop it by giving, no, there are the umbrella of services available. Go to them, pay small fees and get your services done. They may be looking for due diligence. Government is bringing many projects. India is having scarcity of infrastructure. We can pitch in, we can support. These are the area we can provide you these services. But again, question is, it should not look that you are just simply doing marketing. The seriousness has to be seen by the person who want to invest. This, not only business people, I will say NRIs. Let's say myself, I want to invest something. I'm just looking at whether portal gives. Yes, Invest India is saying we have so many projects. You choose from one of them. But the personal comfort can come if a CA comes in between. Friends, investment doesn't mean only money investing. Before investment, during the investment, after the investment, who has to be associated as a partner? Nothing other than chartered accountant who can be the better service provider. And when we talk about service provider, it's not only accounting. You can choose your expertise and you can say, yes, I can help you here. And those are the areas. Yes, many of friends are asking employment. Friends, today only we were, before this webinar, I was just struggling to find out some of the friends who were requesting, we're extended for last 3 months, we don't have any payment, we want to go back to India, and they are not finding seats. So we were working on that. That shows means we have an issue, there is no employment. That's one side of the story. It's not correct. People are looking for new knowledge, innovative ideas. If you bring something new, yes, you are most welcome. Again, this is a period of short time. We are going to come out. So let's prepare ourselves with a skill set and present it. Say, if see, when people are leaving, vacuum is going to be created in this market as well. Who is going to fill it? We have a big opportunity to move it. Yes, there are different type of visas. If you may have some questions, I will very elaborated to answer those. ICAMA, of course, it's not like Dubai. You go and you can quickly work permit. Here, this takes little bit time. Business visa, again, you require somebody to sponsor you. You cannot take at your own. Visit visa, yes, you can take visit visa easily. Nowadays, they are again further relaxed, but you cannot start working, but you can meet people. People are coming on even business visit visa and meeting and try to see, what business prospect they are getting. And many people I'm seeing, they're coming continuously. Just one of that, I just wanted to say, which I was facing problem in finding some of the person who can support government PPP bidding project. Yes, they found one of the party from India that the fees was very high. They told, see, India also asking you not less than Europeans. I told yes, big brands are charging equally same amount. So, but personally, I was feeling that if this was gone to, let's say, tier 2 firms who are having relevant experience, the fee could have been less than 50% of the fee which is charged in millions of dollars. And if that's the case, we need specialized more firms other than auditing. Yes, we can support your PPP project, financial due diligence, technical, legal. Legal is also one of the major area. Friends, with that, I want to break my discussion and leave it to forum. And later on, whenever you have questions, it will be my pleasure to discuss more on the topic.
Thank you, Vijayji. Thank you. It was wonderful to hear you. And you rightly said, if particularly Saudi Arabia, if anybody who is having a visa and who is having some new thing to deliver, he is most welcome there. And we all understand that presently there is a global slowdown in the economy. So might be possible that, like every country, Saudi Arabia is also affected, and due to that reason, the job opportunity in that large scale which was available earlier, it may be postponed for some time being, like in other country as well. We all understand this thing. So one question is from my side before we come to other speaker and thereafter panel discussion. One question is that Saudi Arabia is the largest economy of Middle East, but we have always heard for Dubai particularly. So where do you see the opportunities as compared to Dubai in this context?
Friends, as I rightly said, this Dubai is a name and fame. People go for entertainment.
Maybe due to that type of tourism and infrastructure which Dubai is having.
Correct.
That may be the reason.
No, see, as Naveenji said, Dubai is based on purely commercial theme. They were running that country like a company, I will say, corporate, where they want to earn. So to earn, create every avenue where money can be generated. So they want to keep it very open. So it's very famous. You go to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia started with very closed environment, 1932, which is purely based on religion practices. So things are entirely different. Now they are slowly opening up. Of course, I know one of the company which we're working and we are exporting to all over the world. But first exporter when we went to Australia, we saw Saudi Arabia. It is very Saudi Arabia.
I request all other panelists to kindly keep your mic mute, please. It is getting disturbance. Apart from the speaker, kindly other panelists can keep your mic on mute, please. Yes, sir. Continue.
So I'm telling that experience is, we looked Australia. They say very Saudi Arabia. We told no. We have office in Dubai. They told yeah, we know Dubai. They came to Dubai. They come to Saudi. Then they saw the infrastructure. Oh wow, you are having world-class facilities available here. And today it's famous. They know it very well. Very Saudi Arabia. Even I've been not saying aggregated means Dubai majorly depend on Saudi investments and major part of business from Saudi Arabia. So okay. It's to two things which I will say. Dubai is very easy to go. You may put up an office there and you can have a very good life there. But business, yes, you have to look outside as well. You may come to Saudi. Saudi entry barriers are still there, but whenever you have barrier, means you have less competition.
True. Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir. And next question
Okay.
you have?
Yes, I have many questions, but let the other panelists also speak. Then we will come to the question and answer for the quick, whatever time we have left. Sir, thank you, Vijay, for this wonderful deliberation. In a short time, you have rightly explained the investment opportunity and the business opportunity professional available in Saudi Arabia, and the job opportunity as well. You have rightly elaborated all different sectors, and your presentation was also wonderful. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
And let's move to our other panelist. In our panel, we are having Mr. Abhinav Maru, who is from Hong Kong. Mr. Maru, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Let me tell you about Mr. Maru. He's a 15-year-old chartered accountant, and he is handling a different profile in this KGK group of companies, a 100-year-old prominent company in gems and jewelry industry. He's been working there at some senior management post. And before that, working there, he's worked with very different industry, in the accounting industry. Infosys, he worked with the hedge fund and different industry of work. So since last more than 10 years, he's at Hong Kong itself. So he's having a versatile personality, having different profile edited in his curriculum. So directly I want to come to you, Abhinavji, that in the last 10 years, whatever you have practically witnessed about the economy, about the opportunity for professional in Hong Kong, and what you are witnessing today. So kindly elaborate briefly that what are the professional opportunities available for chartered accountant at Hong Kong presently, in the light of the present scenario, what is going on there as far as job is concerned or as far as practice is concerned. Over to you, Mr. Abhinav Maru.
Yes, Abhishek. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me to explain the fellow members and the members yet to come in the future, so that they can correlate their ideas with this discussions. Let me when we talk about Hong Kong picture comes like attractive lifestyle, high skyscrapers, MNCs, and robust infrastructure. Yes, these are all true. I have been working here. I have been living here since last 10 years with my family, and when I came here first time, I got fascinated about these things. Now it is now become part of my life. So yes, this is all true, and here the professional opportunities are very tremendous. There are tremendous opportunity here in Hong Kong. Like but like before talking about the professional opportunities, let me tell about something about the Hong Kong, like what kind of businesses we have here, and why the businesses, why whole the world companies, they are attracted to set up their businesses, to set up their offices in Hong Kong. So like there are three main things. One is the easy which is the like easy company registration compliance procedures, like Hong Kong government have. Like here only one form of companies, they're like limited company can be incorporated, and it can be incorporated online. You can easily estimate like how easy to form a company while sitting outside Hong Kong. You can register online and that's done. And requirement of local offices, company secretary is easy to follow. Hire a company service provider to follow with them, with your company. Only certain kind of annual tax return filing or company filing is required. It is nothing like if we compare to India or some other country. There are a lot of various kind of compliances which are required to be fulfilled. So this is also one thing, like business nature and location of operation are not restricted. So business licenses, again, getting the business license is very easy. Like, and let's say if you it is again online, you can get the business license online, and that too, that license, you are not bounded by that particular business for which you have got the license. It can be some related to other activities also. Obviously, apart from those activities which require specific license and trade specific businesses which are mentioned by the government that requires the uh, specific business registration or business license. And second most important thing is the simple and low tax regime. Here the tax structure is very simple, very straightforward, unlike to the India or any other country. Like the corporate tax rate is straight 16.5%, and the individual taxation rate is also very progressive and very welfare kind of taxation rate is there. So, and the best part is, in case of individuals, like they get in case of individuals or salaried people, they get a rebate of I mean deduction of their daily living expenses. Like in India, the tax is levied on the salary income. Here the tax is levied on the savings. So you can easily estimate like what is the difference between the taxation rules over here. And this is very straight and very simple here. And the another thing is important thing is it is the free port. Free port means there is no custom duty here in Hong Kong on the imports, except for some tobacco or wine products. Everything is free, so there is no custom duty. So you can export in whatever you want, and in how much quantity you want. There is no custom duty. So it is free zone, free port. That's why you must have heard that many times that Hong Kong is a free port area or it is a free country, like those things. So again thing, one more thing here, like outstanding location in Asia. It is a very geographical location, geographic position of this particular country. It is it is very close to mainland China, which is a perfect location, which makes it as a perfect location because China is a China is blessed with a population of around 1.4 billion, and they are manufacturer. There is a lot of consumptions. So China, of course, has a major consumption percentage in the Hong Kong market. So major business cities across the globe like Beijing, Shanghai, Singapore, Taipei, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, these are in the same time zone of Hong Kong. So it is again, I mean, it makes a difference in terms of efficiency and carrying out the business activities. Free. Another thing is free business environment. Like the surveys has happened in Hong Kong. Like since last 20 years, Hong Kong has been awarded with more than 90% of scoring in terms of trade freedom, property acquisition freedom, financial freedoms, investment freedoms. So these are all hassle free. So everything has been left to the business or businessman or company's choice, where they want to invest, how they want to invest. There is no kind of any hassles or obstacles or sanctions has been levied on these things. And one more thing I would like to, before proceeding further, one more thing I would like to tell about Hong Kong, that you will be surprised to know that there is the population of Hong Kong is only 80 lakhs, 8 million, only 80 lakhs. So it is very small country. It is spread into the 1100 square kilometers only. And it is very densely populated country because there is a there is a lack of flat land, and it is the that's the reason that here only the skyscrapers are only there. There is lack of land, so we don't see the houses or villas kind of things here like we enjoy in Jaipur or India. So this is the one thing which pains me a lot when I came here, but now I'm used to it. So the point to mention is this: like in the 80 lakhs of population, the GDP of this country or the forex reserve of this country is almost equal to India. So that much of business activities is happening over here because this is a free port. This is due to its geographical location, due to its connection, due to its hub of the Southeast China, like finance hub, banking hub. So those kind of things makes this country special to work here, whether carrying as a profession or working on or working in working in a corporation or company on salary basis. Again, one thing which I read in the reports, like it is a corruption free system over here. And this is again it was coming, it came into the survey that Hong Kong is the less very nominal corruption rate over here. Independent legal system, the Hong Kong legal system, which is embedded or stipulated in the basic law of Hong Kong, which is the Constitution of India. It is based upon the British common law system. So it has got its independent judiciary, and this is the independent legal system, which is not dependent upon to the China in terms of judiciary. When we talk about the legal system, judiciary, it has got its own setup. World-class public transportation infrastructure. So this makes the business carrying the business activities or the profession more efficient, more better. It is well connected with all across the globe, and it has got the BGS airport, which you and everyone might have heard that it is the BGS airport on the daily basis. And it for our if we talk about, just to give an example, like for Jaipur there are daily 4 to 5 flights. I am not talking about the current scenario because currently pandemic is going on, so everything is stopped, but normally 5 or 6 flights are there. So daily basis around hundreds of flights are operating from here. Now again, important point is that Hong Kong dollar is the most traded currency. When I say like why it is so, because it is packed with the US dollar. I mean, the valuation of this currency is always $1 US equals to 7.75 HKD to 7.8 HKD. So it is packed with the US dollar. It has many repercussion or which are positive, which makes a special country to be based at. So, and the last but not the least point is that here the well developed banking and finance ecosystem, like here are around 160 banks are licensed banks, which comes from 36 countries, and out of these 160 banks, around 100 are the topmost banks of the all across the world. So so it is the banking hub, basically. Banking hub, when I say, like the companies can take the finance here at a very cheap rate, and they can invest in their multi-locational structure. So that is the again advantage for the businesses, like they can take loan from here and finance their projects from here, and they can spread the money all across the globe wherever, according to the whatever guideline issued by the respective government of the respective countries. So this is also one of the reason, like banking and financing is very smooth, very easy, and at the cheap rate, faster pace. So these are all the things it attracts the businesses to set up here, to grow here, and to expand here. And once the businesses are grow, they get the opportunity due to all these things. Of course, the professional like us, we get more opportunity to grow. Doesn't matter if we can grow our profession over here, we can work in a corporation on the salary basis, as I told. Like when we talk about profession, we can of course we cannot directly start our practicing over here, but all the things which takes place as a consultancy or to carry out a profession, like company incorporation or accounting, taxation, auditing service, internal audit, valuation services, trademark registrations, portfolio management, system consulting. These are some consultancy area where chartered accountants can contribute. They are contributing as of now also, because although the number is not the chartered accountant who are working here, they are not much. There should be around 700 or 600 chartered accountant over here who are working in the companies or working as a consultant. But looking at the size of the country, looking at the population, this is a very good impressive number. Just recently, around 2 or 3 years before, our institute has established, opened a chapter over here. So this was a good news for us. And so we get an opportunity to, get the feel of, what is running around the world. Like we go to the chapter and attend the, discussions with the fellow members, students, not the students, sorry, fellow members who are working over here. So it is a nice thing to be abreast with all the changes coming into our curriculum, or maybe some specific subject like M&A or treasury management, those kind of important subjects, which matters over here. So these are the logic of giving this gist is to, to make the audience connect, like why the, CAs can grow over here. This was my purpose. So I think for this, I could make something clear about,
Yes.
Hong Kong perspective.
Thank you, Abhinavji. You rightly said that Hong Kong is not attractive only for its nightlife and all these things, for some big casino what we have in this Macau. But Hong Kong is basically called and needed for this, particularly for businesses. It's a business hub, basically. It's a business hub of Asia, and it connects
Yeah.
many cities, many countries across as far as business is concerned. And you have said that in India, from India also, various accountants are there who are working in there in the Hong Kong particularly. They are doing some job somewhere. They are doing with own practice. And you have
Yes.
said that accounting and consultancy, like incorporation of company and all, that is again
Mhm.
creating some big scope there, which
Yes.
attracts professional community there. Sir, one
Yeah.
question from you directly, whether
Yeah.
before we come to the next panelist, and then we'll have panel question answer. That you told a lot of opportunities are there in the Hong Kong. It's a big city. It's having a big economy like India. It's an attractive city. Various banks, business houses there. So what is the impact on all of these opportunities, which is available, as rightly said by you, in the current political scenario there, sir? Could you elaborate something about this?
See, current political
I might
scenario.
understand you must have some your regulation limitation within which you can speak about this. Within that limitation, if you can speak something about this opportunities
No,
in the
no.
current
See,
crisis.
currently, this national security law, which is being imposed by China over the Hong Kong, it has been imposed, and there are some clauses which want to make sure that Hong Kong is not separated from China at any cost, and Hong Kong cannot be surrendered to China, from China to any other country or any other authority. So they have made sure that Hong Kong remains its baby, and it is not given to any other parent. So although so far Hong Kong has maintained its sovereignty since 1997, when the Britishers they handed over to China, but China was having intervention, or maybe intervention in certain aspect, not in every aspect, because Hong Kong has its own, as I told you, that Hong Kong has its own legal system. Hong Kong has its own business systems, which are Hong Kong has its own disclosure requirement, transparency systems, which are not there in China. China is more known for its withholding the information on those things, and Hong Kong is very transparent, because that's the reason the other companies from the across the globe, they have established their offices over here, because here it is very transparent. You can transparent with the data, with the information, to the investor who are sitting into the India or any other place across the globe. So of course this national security law, it is making some difference in the, there are now two schools of thought actually. One group of researchers or analysts, they are saying that uh, it could lead to a situation where companies or the MNCs, they can pack up their bags and they can leave Hong Kong. And another group of researchers, they are saying that this is not going to make any difference in terms of business or in terms of professions, because it is going to be remain as is it is currently. So it is not going to make any difference. The China government just want to make sure that Hong Kong is not separated from China. This is the simple rule they want.
Yeah.
Because
So according
since
to
last
you,
1 year,
this is only a phase of time, and
yes,
for after next maybe some months or maybe a year,
yes,
everything is going to be happen normal, and again the China, again this Hong Kong will come up
yes,
like again interesting. This is opportunity to across the globe.
yes, yes. Because Hong Kong has, there is no alternative of Hong Kong in across the globe. You know, the companies who are working over here, if they could have find any other alternative, they would have, you know, packed their bag and they would have gone to
They
any
must
other
have gone
country.
till
But
now. They will not supposed to
yes,
wait.
yes,
Right.
yes, they won't have waited for this, you know, thing to happen. Why? Because they are getting some advantage of his location, of access to the Greater Bay Area like Macau, Guangzhou, and Hong Kong, this triangle. So it is very advantageous to their business growth, and you know, they are having access to the very populous countries like China, like sitting here to Hong Kong, Bangkok, sorry, India, Bangkok. So the strategic location is very important for the, you know, for a particular business to grow or to set up. So those
Okay.
advantages the companies are getting here. So I don't think that this is going to impact the professions or business over here,
True.
and it is
True.
going to continue to grow here. So uh, so I personally see professional opportunities continue to be in the future like same today.
So friends, as told by Mr. Abhinav Maru, and as we all observe, that Hong Kong is still an attracting business opportunity, what we can say. And if the business will going to set up, the new business is going to set up, then it's for sure the work for the professionals, work for chartered accountants like us will definitely going to be enhanced. And we all can get the good opportunity. Yeah, not only we can work as employees in some good corporations or company, but we can set up our own consultancy there and can start opening of companies there, can start the accounting work and all. Definitely we can do that. Thank you, Abhinavji, for connecting with us. And in after our last panel speaker will speak, we'll come for the question answer, quick question answer. And in that time, definitely we'll take the questions from the audience. Thank you, Abhinavji. Friends, we
Welcome.
have traveled from India to Dubai, to Saudi, to Hong Kong, and now it's time to travel to Australia. Our panel speaker, Mr. Vivek Agarwal, is connected with all of us from all together from Australia. He's a CA, he's a BCom, he's a manager business service, presently working with an MNC there with a accounting company, the Modern Accounting and Consultancy is working there. He's a chartered accountant, he's a Master of Accounting from Macquarie University, Sydney, Australia. And he's a Bachelor of Commerce from Mumbai University. He's taking diploma in import and export from Mercer Center, Mumbai 2003. So he's again a very good professional who have went there, who have been in Australia since last more than 10, 12 years, and who understand the economy of Australia, who understand about the business scope in Australia, who understand the need of professionals in Australia as far as job and practice is concerned. So now don't waste much time and let's directly go to Mr. Vivek. Mr. Vivek, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Can you?
So it's over to you, Mr. Vivek. Kindly elaborate the opportunity of professionals, particularly what you can look for from Australia. It's maybe the night time in Australia, and we are disturbing you in the night time, but
No
it's all
problem
to
at
the
all.
benefit of our fellow members. So over to you, Mr. Vivek.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abhishek ji, for such a nice introduction. And thank you so much to ICAI for the opportunity to share my opinion on such an interesting topic. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Australia. I'm based in Melbourne here. And I hope that everyone is in the best of their health and best of their wealth at the moment. Abhishek ji has already told about me. I'm a fully qualified chartered accountant and a proud member of CA Australia and New Zealand. I'm also an associate member of CPA Australia and a registered tax agent in Australia. I originally comes from Bhilwara, Rajasthan. I came to Australia in 2005 after graduating from HR College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. After coming to Australia, I completed my Masters of Accounting from Macquarie University in Sydney, followed by my completion of Chartered Accountancy in 2009. Currently, I'm practicing in Australia, as well as I'm working as a business service manager in a well-established firm in Melbourne, known as Moran Accountants, and now I've been working with them for the last 13 years. I started as a graduate accountant here, and now have progressed to the business service manager level. So Australia is an extremely multicultural country, and it is a home for a very big Indian population outside of India. Australia is also considered a heaven on earth, and everything here is very systematic, including the taxation system. Australian likes to be treated like friends. Australian likes to be treated like buddies. Australian like persons who fit in their team. And when employer goes and hire a person, sometimes they don't even look at the qualification. They just look for a person who can fit in their team and who can work towards the progress of their business. So in the next 10 minutes, I will talk about all the opportunities for chartered accountants in Australia, as well as I will cover a bit of Australian taxation system. When I was at the college, my principal used to say, don't work hard, work intelligent and smart. That actually works very well in Australia. And to all the chartered accountants from India, I would like to say you have worked very, very hard. You have obtained a very good degree. Now you should use your designation as a passport to the entire world. This degree can give you tremendous amount of opportunities. You can go anywhere in the world, including Australia, and you can establish your career. Now I'll come back to the opportunities in Australia. To the first thing is, when you come to Australia, you need full work rights here. Without the work rights, you cannot work in Australia. And especially you cannot even apply for the work in Australia sitting in India if you don't have the work rights. Companies in Australia will not hire you if you are not based in Australia. You need to have the full work rights, and the companies here do not like to take any kind of risk if you do not have the proper visa. So to obtain a full-time job or establish your own practice in Australia, you should either try to get the permanent residency or Australian citizenship. And the good thing is, being the chartered accountant in India, you can easily apply for the permanent residency status of Australia. Even sitting in India, you can apply for the residency. Once you have the residency, you can come to the Australia and start looking for the work. Within 4 to 5 years, you will become a citizen of Australia, where you will get the Australian passport, and that will open the world to you. So by coming to Australia, you are not just opening your opportunities to Australia, but to the entire world, because Australian passport is well regarded all over the world, and you can actually go to various countries without obtaining the visa. Currently, there are many opportunities for chartered accountants in Australia. But as per your experience, you can work in various kind of fields. Like you can work as an auditor here, you can work as a bookkeeper, you can work as a business service accountant, corporate accountant, a cost accountant, financial accountant. You can work as a forensic accountant, fund accountant, group accountant, insolvency accountant, payroll accountant, management accountant, mining accountant. Australia is very popular for its mining, so you can work here as a mining accountant. You can work as a project accountant. You can work as a revenue accountant. You can work as a financial controller, CFO, or self-managed super fund accountant. You can work as a tax specialist and there are many, many other fields in which you can work as a chartered accountant here. You can select your workplace among many choices. You can work in a multinational company. You can work in a government body. You can work in a private company. You can work in an auditing firm, in an accounting firm, in a banking and insurance sector, or you can establish your own practice in Australia. Australia is a very big country, but most of the population is based in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Canberra. And in every region of Australia, we have the same facilities available here. So the life doesn't change whether you live in Sydney, Melbourne, or even you live in a remote area. But the opportunities for chartered accountants are similar everywhere. The Australian Stock Exchange is one of the 10 largest global security exchange in terms of value, with the total market capitalization of about $2 trillion. The top Australian companies by market caps are Commonwealth Bank, CSL Limited, BHP Group, Westpac Banking Group, National Bank of Australia, Woolworths Group, Wesfarmers, Macquarie Group, and there are many other companies which are based in Australia who can hire you for the work. The salary level in industry is starting level is 50,000 plus superannuation and up to 250,000 plus superannuation. You can also be a financial planner in Australia. You can also be a mortgage broker in Australia. But for that, you may need to obtain some more additional license and qualifications in Australia. According to the latest market research, the most in demand occupation within the accounting profession is taxation accountant or business service accountant. So you can work as a taxation accountant, or you can establish your own firm in Australia. To establish and run your own practice in Australia, you must be a registered tax agent. Just being a chartered accountant doesn't mean that you can liaise with Australian taxation office and start lodging the return. You have to obtain a separate license here, which is run by the TPB Australia. And you also need to obtain a public practice certificates from the professional accountant.
That license is available to Indian chartered accountant, or do we need to take a degree of Australia CPA for that?
Yeah, so there are some specific requirements. So you don't need to have any degree from Australia. The Indian degree will be beneficial, but you need to have some specific amount of work experience. And you also need to work under an Australian tax agent in order to obtain the tax agent license in Australia. There are mainly three legally recognized professional bodies here: Institute of Public Accountants, CPA Australia, and Chartered Accountant of Australia and New Zealand. But only a registered agent can represent a client to the ATO and provide advice on tax and financial matter. A CA himself cannot provide any sort of advice to any client. They need to be a registered tax agent. In a typical world in Australia, a CA or CPA practice normally provides following services like preparation of monthly, half-yearly, or annual financial statements, annual income tax return for companies, trust, partnerships, self-managed super fund, the preparation and lodgement of monthly and quarterly business activity statements to represent the GST, fringe benefit tax return, and installment activity statements. The few of the suggestion I would like to give to my CA fellow is the local experience is very much required in Australia. If you come from India, even after 20 years of work experience, finding a job in Australia would not be very easy because Australians love local work experience. When I say local work experience, they don't just look for the accounting experience. Doesn't matter where you have worked, they just want to see that you can work in Australia. They just want to see you can speak in Australia. They just want to see that you can adjust with Australian people. So the local work experience is very, very must. So when you come to Australia, don't hesitate to accept a job which you have never ever worked in or which is not related to your field. Just get anything and try to understand how Australia works, how Australian people work, and what sort of lifestyle they live, how do they think, what is their mindset, what kind of things they are always after. Australian loves their lifestyle. They only want to work 9 to 5, but they want to work efficiently. If you work more than 9 to 5, they will tell you, go home, stay home, spend time with your family. They don't want you to work for more than 8 hours because they know that a human cannot work for more than 8 hours. So the Indian chartered accountant needs to respect that. One of the biggest challenge the Indian chartered accountants when they come to Australia face is their English. We speak very fast, which is not a problem, but we need to, when we come to this country, we need to understand how do we improve our accent, how do we improve our English, and how do we fit in this country. I would like to talk a bit about Australian tax system as well, if time permits.
Yes, sir, you can continue. You can continue, please.
First of all, I'll give you a few significant points about Australian taxation system. Then we'll talk about how the Commonwealth tax, state tax, and the administration of taxation system works here. The Australian tax system is a mix of direct and indirect tax levied by both the Commonwealth and state governments, depending on the type of the tax. The income tax system in Australia is administered by the Australian Taxation Office, also known as the ATO. The financial year in Australia starts on 1st of July and finishes on 30th of June. The federal government of Australia has jurisdiction to tax Australian resident on income from worldwide sources and non-resident to only Australian sourced income. The legislation contains specific rules to determine the residency status of an individual and a company. There is a risk here, which is the double taxation of an income in two countries. And therefore, to avoid this, the Australian Taxation Office has entered into many double taxation agreements, including India. Tax file number and the Australian business number are must in Australia. So if you want to run a business in Australia, you need to obtain an Australian business number. And if you want to work in Australia, you need to obtain a tax file number, which is pretty similar to the PAN number in India. The Commonwealth tax, I'll talk about the Commonwealth tax now. So there are 4 most significant taxes in Australia, which is personal tax, capital gain tax, corporate tax, and goods and service tax. The personal tax, the personal income tax is the most significant source of revenue in Australia. Australia use a progressive tax scale system for the purpose of taxing individuals. Under this system, the rate of tax payable increases as taxable income increases. Personal income tax in Australia are imposed on the personal income of each person on a progressive basis, with higher rates applying to higher income levels. Point to note here is personal income tax in Australia is imposed only on individuals, not on the family unit. Like in India, we have various kind of taxes on family units, but in Australia, the tax is only imposed on the companies and the individuals. Individuals are also taxed on their share of any partnership or trust profits to which they are entitled to for the financial year. The details of all these can be found on the Australian taxation website. The beauty about Australian tax legislation is it's written in a very, very simple English language. So a person who is not an accountant, a person who is not a chartered accountant can easily understand the tax in the tax legislation in Australia. Capital gain tax. Capital gain tax is imposed on gains realized from the sale of both tangible and intangible asset, with special rules applicable to the valuation of capital gains. Certain assets such as motor vehicle, personal use assets, and one's principal place of residence are exempt from this tax. Corporate tax. Company profits are taxed at a flat rate of 27.5% depending on the company's level of income. Goods and service tax, which is recently has been introduced in India as well. Goods and service tax in Australia is 10%, but some of the supplies such as food, export, education, and health are excluded from GST. Fringe benefit tax. Fringe benefit tax is imposed in Australia for the value of non-cash benefits provided by employers to employee, and it is one of the biggest tax in Australia, which is 46.5% of the benefit. Medicare levy and Medicare levy surcharge. This is one of the most interesting tax in Australia, and every Australian love to pay this tax. This is Medicare is Australia's public health insurance scheme. It operates by receiving contribution through the Medicare levy and Medicare levy surcharge on Australian residents' taxable system. The Medicare levy is imposed at a flat rate of 1.5%, and if you are a high income earner, you pay another 1 to 1.5% if you don't have the private health insurance system. Because of this surcharge, all the public hospitals and all the entire health system is free in Australia. And it's one of the biggest advantage of coming to this country. If you come to this country, you do not have to worry about your own health or the treatment of your own disease or anything.
So tell us about the cost of living in Australia particularly.
Yes, sorry?
Cost of living. If any professional is coming there in Australia for job purposes or want to do his own consultancy, what about the cost of living in Australia as compared to the other part of the world?
The cost of living for an individual in Australia is approximately $20,000, which is equivalent to 10 lakhs rupees. Or if you are a family, I would say $30,000, which is 15 lakhs rupees. But if you come to Australia, the minimum salary level here is $40,000 to $45,000. So the kind of saving you will have in your year one is almost equivalent to 20 lakhs rupees. So coming here is the living cost here is very high, but at the same time the standard is very high. Your lifestyle improves, at the same time your savings improves as well. The other benefit here is the government has imposed a superannuation tax on employers here, which is 9.5% of the value of the salary, which is towards the retirement fund of the individual. So when you come to Australia and if you work here, if your salary is $40,000 or $50,000, 9.5% or up to 10% of that will be deposited into your retirement fund. At the same time, the state and the territory have also imposed some tax. I would just name them: stamp duty, payroll tax, land tax, and motor vehicle duties. Australia loves the honesty, and Australia thinks the people are behaving honestly, and therefore we have a self-assessment system here. The individuals can lodge their system. The individuals can lodge their returns using their own account, or they can go to a tax agent and lodge their returns. But the government here believes that the Australians are doing the right things, so you can go and lodge your returns. However, at the same time, the tax office conducts the audits as well to make sure that the people are following the rules and regulation. So it's a very beautiful country. It's a heaven on earth, and there are tremendous opportunities for Indian chartered accountants or any chartered accountants who wants to come to Australia and settle down here. When I came here in 2005, I didn't know that I will come that far, but I think I have made the best decision of my life to come to Australia. I do miss India all the time. I do miss family all the time, but it's one of the best city in the world. Melbourne is one of the best city in the world. So I'm proud to live here. So
True,
one
true,
thing I
true.
would like to mention here, which is a quote by Swami Vivekananda, is arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So if you have decided that you want to come to Australia, just keep working on it, and there would be a day when you will be in Australia. Over to you, Abhishek ji.
Thank you, Vivek ji. It was rightly said by you that arise, awake, and not stop unless you got your goal. It is rightly said. And Australia is a lovely country, as you told. It's a good country to live with. Though cost of living is higher, but the earning and the salaries are also higher as compared to that. So
Correct.
in percentage of the salary or your earning, the cost of living is not as much as high. So if any
Correct.
professional want to go to Australia, they can do it. So one question is coming to my mind. Like in Australia, as you are a chartered accountant, so there can be two types of working there. If you can work as a chartered accountant of Australia and New Zealand, and another is that you can work as a CPA also. So which one is the
Yes.
most critical qualification you understand as far as the working of as a tax agent or some other consultancy in Australia is concerned?
Yeah. See, as I mentioned before, there are three bodies here: IPA, CPA, and CAANZ. It doesn't really matter which institute you are affiliated to. When the employer hire you, they look at your work experience, like how much work experience do you have? Have you ever worked in Australia? Having a membership is a good thing, and it does prove your education. But Australian does not just believe into education; they believe into the work experience. In India, we study, we keep studying, we finish our studies, and then we start working. But in people in Australia, after year 12, they take a break, they work for a few years, then they go to the uni, then they complete their bachelor's degree, then they work for a few more years, and then they go for the master's course, then they go for the higher degree. So by the time they finish their highest degree, they already have 10 or 12 years worth of experience. Versus when we come from India here, we have achieved so many degrees, but the amount of experience we have is very, very low. Now we may have only 3 or 4 years of work experience, but we have so many degrees. So for many jobs, we are overqualified here. They say that you are overqualified for this
Oh,
job and we cannot hire you due to the government restrictions, because the government restricts here that if you are qualified, you have to be paid such and such amount. So sometimes Australian hesitates to hire a person who has so many degrees, and we Indian loves to obtain degrees. So when you come to
true.
Australia, it doesn't really matter which organization you go to. You can go to CPA, you can go to CA, or you can go to APA, but the experience is very much required here. And that is why I mentioned that when you come to Australia, doesn't matter what kind of work you get, just go and grab the job and learn the Australian system.
Okay, so as Vivek ji told that degree is okay, you can be CP, you can be chartered accountant, and we all are chartered accountants, so that degree is more than enough. But the only thing is that you must have to go for some practical experience there in Australia. Then only you will be able to get yourself, uh, environment friendly and Australia friendly. Then only the people will believe you by having, if you are having some experience there in Australia, particularly whatever your post is, whatever your working is, you must be get yourself familiar with the Australia rules, familiar with the Australia person. That's it. What is required apart from your professional degree. Thank you, Vivek ji. So, thank you all the panelists. During this session, we have traveled from India to the Middle East part, then we have traveled to Hong Kong part, then we have traveled to Australia. And before we conclude, we are having some question. And before I invite our Vice Chairman Atul Mehrotra ji, vote of thanks, let's take some quickly questions, please. So I've seen on the screen some of the panelists have, some of the participants have raised the hand. I can ask them to kindly speak when Avdesh Trivedi is there. So can I request moderator to kindly allow Avdesh Trivedi to speak, please? Can I request host to kindly unmute Mr. Avdesh Trivedi? Can you hear me, please? Can you allow Mr. Avdesh Trivedi?
Sir, allowed, sir, allowed.
Yes, Avdesh, you can ask your question, please. Quickly.
Avdesh, please unmute yourself and then ask.
Avdesh, please
Avdesh,
unmute.
please unmute yourself and then ask.
There might be some technical problems, sir. Next, our question panelist, Ayushi Maheshwari is there who asked for some question. Kevin sir, kindly unmute Ayushi Maheshwari. Ayushi Maheshwari.
Ayushi ji, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Ayushi ji, please unmute and ask your question.
There might be some problem with this queries also. We have Prateek Gupta. Prateek Gupta is also there. Can you unmute Mr. Prateek Gupta? Is it working?
No, Shreya Gupta is there. Shreya Gupta.
Shreya Gupta, yes.
Shreya Gupta, please unmute yourself and then talk.
It's a Shreya Gupta, sir.
Yes, Shreya, ask your question quickly, please.
Actually, sir, my question is for Naveen, sir. Sir,
Yes, Naveen sir,
do we have,
ask your question.
sir, I am asking for looking for a location for Dubai. So, what do you suggest? Whether we look for job opportunity before we go to the Dubai, or we just visit there for the tourist visa and then look after for the job there?
See, honestly, your aim is to find the job.
Yes,
if
sir.
you have the job while in India, it is always very good. Because from the day one you are employed. But make
yes,
sure that you do your due diligence about the company. You find out more about the company work cultures and about the owners and about the salary level which you are getting. And if that option is not available to you, you can always come here on a visit visa and find the job. Both options work well, and if you can find while in India, it's always very good, because usually good companies they hire from India. Like my group, Al Shirabi Group, we hire regularly from India, and we have hired a lot of chartered accountants. We have close to 40 CAs in my group, and we preferred Indians coming directly from India. So we have the recruitment office in Mumbai. But smaller companies, they don't do that. And now people are coming here getting the job. Both works very well. It's individual choice. At the end of the day, you should get a good job.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Naveen sir. Thank you, Shrey. Next, our who want to ask the question, Latika Gandhi is there. Kindly unmute Latika Gandhi.
Latika, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Next one is Ayushi Maheshwari. Yes, Latika.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I wanted to ask a question from Vivek, sir, regarding Australia. Actually, I was looking for two opportunities like Australia and Canada. I tried for Canada. I have given my IELTS and I have done my WES done. I am only left with the scoring part because I was applying for the PR residency in Canada. Also, I have Australia in mind. I want to ask like which would be a better option, and will my IELTS and WES which I have get it done for the Canada, can that be applied for Australia as well?
Vivek ji, kindly revert please.
Vivek ji, please unmute yourself and then reply. Rest all, please mute your mic.
Vivek ji, can you hear us? Kindly unmute yourself and proceed, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Latika, thanks for your question. It's a very genuine question. I had the same situation when I was coming to Australia. I was going to UK, Canada, and Australia. Yes, your IELTS will be accepted when you come to Australia, which you have done for Canada, so it will be accepted. The biggest advantage of coming to Australia is the family lifestyle here. I'm not sure about your situation, but if you have family or whenever you have a family in Australia, you will have a fantastic family lifestyle here. The second biggest advantage, which I mentioned before as well, that if you come to Australia, you can get the permanent residency and an Australian citizenship. I'm not sure if anywhere in the world the acquisition of citizenship is that easy. But if you come to Australia and if you settle here, and after 4 to 5 years, you can obtain the citizenship. So I would recommend you that if you want to choose a country, choose Australia between Canada and Australia.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek ji. Thank you, Latika.
No
Avdesh
problem.
Dwivedi ji, if
Sir,
Avdesh
I
Dwivedi mic
have
can be
something
unmuted.
in continuation.
Sorry, speak once again, please.
No, sir, I have something in continuation to ask. Can I?
Yeah, ask please, please.
Yeah. I was just asking from
Your
Vivek,
voice is
sir.
not
I
coming
have the
properly, Latika.
WES, that is World Education Services Equivalency Test done. So,
Madam Latika, your voice is not clear.
I am asking that there is something called WES. When we apply for the PR, we have to do that. Saying, is it better now? Hello, am I
Yep, I
audible?
can hear you.
Yes.
Hello.
Latika,
So
kindly
I
ask.
was wanted to know, sir, I have get the WES done. That is the World Education Services Yeah, yeah. So I have done the WES for the Canadian PR. Does the same WES apply for the Australian PR?
No, Australian PR doesn't accept that. You have to do the IELTS for Australia, and which you mentioned you have done already.
Sir, IELTS I get it, but there is something called the equivalency test for the Indian degree comparison to the foreign degree. For Canada, we have to get it done from WES.
No, you need to get it assessed. No, you need to get it assessed from CPA Australia or CANZ.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Our next participant is Avdesh Dwivedi. He could be unmuted. Kindly unmute him. Next is Anuj Ganguly.
Avdesh ji, please unmute yourself and raise your query.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
No, sir,
Yes,
I
sir,
don't
you
have
are
any
audible.
query.
Okay, don't have any query. You have raised your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Okay, thank
No
you,
query,
sir.
sir.
Okay, Anuj Ganguly ji, you have raised your hand. Sir, kindly unmute Anuj Ganguly.
Ganguly ji, please unmute yourself and then ask your query. Anuj Ganguly ji, please unmute yourself and ask your query. Okay.
Then our next query is Ayushi Maheshwari. Kindly unmute Ayushi Maheshwari. As we are short of the time, so let's take quickly last two questions. Kindly unmute Ayushi Maheshwari.
Ayushi, please unmute yourself. I think there are 2-3 hands are there. That is Shikhar Brahmbhatt. I am allowing them. Shikhar Brahmbhatt.
Hello.
Raise your
Yes, kindly ask your question.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my question is specifically to Mr. Vivek. So as Mr. Vivek has told us that in Australia, the people can lodge their own tax returns on their own. So for that, they do not require any tax consultant or anything like any person like that. So here in India, for lodging the tax returns and all those things, we required some tax consultant, which can be a lawyer or most specifically chartered accountants. So from the tax consultant point of view, what kind of starting professional opportunities we'd get there in Australia? So if a person can lodge his or her tax returns on their own, so what kind of work then tax consultants can have at the initial stage if they are going to start up their own consultancy or their own practice? So what kind of work they get? Because here in India, we get at the starting of the practice, we get the work from individuals and the small firms and all those things. So what opportunities are there in Australia for a person to start his own practice?
It's a very good question. When I said the individual can lodge their return, I only said individuals. Business cannot lodge their returns on their own. They always need a tax agent or an accountant to prepare their returns. So if you establish your own practice here, the high net worth individual will always need your assistance because they cannot prepare their own returns. The only people in Australia who prepare their own returns, whose returns are very, very basic and very, very simple. Otherwise, people always take and seek advice of a valid tax agent.
Okay, and what about the unskilled or semi-skilled kind of persons? So do they require the tax consultants or they do their on their own, like semi-skilled or unskilled
Look,
kind of person?
it's completely up to the person whether they are skilled or semi-skilled. It is completely your choice. You are not bound by the government to use a tax agent. The government has provided their own platform. You can just log into their website and you can lodge your return, or you can accept the return prepared by the Australian Taxation Office as it is. But if you are looking for a service and if you are looking for more tax advantage, they will always come and ask you many questions.
Okay, okay. Thank you for my knowledge announcement. Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Shikhar. Next is Aditya Bataria and Shikhar Brahmat. Kindly unmute these. Aditya Bataria.
Please unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, audible. Kindly ask you.
Yeah, my question is to Naveen sir. Naveen sir, does certifications from USA like CPA or some Canada CPA, does it help enhancing the prospects of getting more business or more employment opportunities in GCC countries, or for that matter maybe some European countries?
The answer is yes, and the logic is that in Gulf there is no manufacturing or very little manufacturing.
Okay.
And there, as Mr. Abhishek in the beginning said, that the local population is around 10%. Okay. So what is happening? Most of the companies are foreign companies, and because this is a hydrocarbon-rich sector of the world, which has lots of money, then you have the best of the best companies.
Okay.
And say if you are applying for the Apple Corporation, they will value your Indian CA, but they prefer to have somebody having the American CPA, because at the end of the day, their accounts are prepared as per the US-based regulations.
Okay.
So having that certification is always very helpful. In my opinion, if you are thinking about international, and wherever you go, which part of the world, and if you have to work in the first 100 companies in the world, think about America. And because these certification will always helpful. If you are thinking about investments, private equities, cross-border, there is no substitute than the CFA, because in investment, like CA, maybe we have from Hong Kong, from Australia, from India, from Pakistan and Philippines, but in investment, there is only one degree in the world, which is CFA.
Okay.
So that certification is really helpful. This is my personal opinion, but it's not very difficult for Indian Chartered Accountant. Our syllabus is hard enough. So I think you have already done the final. You have to do the intermediate, if any of the course you want to do.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think now all of the queries have been resolved. There is no further query left with us. So it was a wonderful session, friends. Now I invite Sri Atul Mehrotra ji, Vice Chairman CIRC, for his vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Very good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
And before formal vote of thanks, really I enjoyed the session. It was a different kind of ECM, and I think Abhishek has worked hard work for organizing this VCM. So first of all, I want to thank on behalf of CIRC, I express my ardent thanks to our learned speaker, our professional colleagues, Vivek Agrawal ji from Australia, Abhinav Manu ji from Hong Kong, Vijay Soni ji from Saudi Arabia, Naveen Sharma ji from Dubai, and Sumit Dada ji from our own India. Though all are from India, but I think the inputs given by the different speakers and our fraternity members and the views shared and their experience shared have certainly benefited our members and especially our young members. And it will be a great opportunity for our Indian Chartered Accountants. And this is the time we have to grab those opportunities. So thanks to all 5 panelists for today's evening. Once again, from the core of my heart. Now I want to thank my radiant thanks to our chairman, Devender Somani ji, young dynamic chairman of our CIRC, for organizing, for managing this VCM on a very important and fruitful subject topic for our chartered accountants. I express my heartfelt thanks for my younger brother Abhishek Sharma ji, the moderator of today's program, for his hard work, for managing and for having this session in a very lively manner. Thanks, Abhishek ji. I would be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge the presence of each and every member who is present, who attended this VCM from the different cities of our Central India region. As you all know, we are having the CIRC, which consists of 7 states. So members from 7 states have joined this program, and I am sure that it will be a great.
Atulji, members across the globe joined.
Yes, you can say yes. But the benefits have mainly will be to our Indian chartered accountants. So, and last but not the least, the staff of ICI and the technical team whose support is very important for the successful of any event. Thanks to all. Thanks to all. Take care of your health and your family. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Atulji. Thank you very much for your vote of thanks to the lovely audience who have joined for this session, and thank you very much all the panelists, all the participants who have joined for this session. And we have traveled across from India to Middle East to Hong Kong and Australia. We have traveled. Thank you very much, Sumit ji. Thank you very much, Naveen ji. Thank you, Vijay ji. Thank you, Vivek ji. Thank you, Abhinav ji. Thank you, Devender ji, Chairman CIRC. Thank you, Atul ji, for joining this program. Thank you very much to CIRC staff. This program is being joined by all of the participants live, not only from CIRC region, but from across India and also from some global different countries. Many participants are there. And friends, thank you very much once again for joining for this program. And very soon we will organize another series where other part of the panelists from other part of the world, from different other countries, which we have not discussed today, we will join all of them soon, very soon. Thank you very much once again.
One small request is there from chairman and as from you also. Since most of the few of the members could not join this program, so please arrange the video so that it will be shared between our members.
Atulji, we have already instructed to our staff, and they have recorded whole program, and it will be live on YouTube channel soon.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much.
We have not broadcasted live on YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will be available on YouTube channel of CIRC.
This program will be available on the YouTube channel of CIRC as said by Chairman sir. Very soon it will be available.
My request to all the panelists as well as all the viewers, please subscribe YouTube channel of the CIRC to watch all the programs and get the notifications there.
Thank you
Further,
very
one more
much.
thing
Thank
I
you.
want to thing I want to share with all of you, that at CIRC level we have started one program, Meet the Chairman, on every Friday 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. for your any queries relating to pending at ICI level for more than 10 days. For transparent working at ICI level, we have started this special program, and I am very glad to inform you that after CIRC, now EIRC, NIRC, and other regions, SIRC also started the same program, Meet the Chairman, and at the same day and same time. Any members across the world have any query relating to ICI, they can raise their query through mail, and then if their query is not resolved within 10 days, they can directly contact through through Zoom software on 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thank you very much.
Very good, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. And I will request all of the panelists to kindly share your email ID in the chat box if you are comfortable, so that our members who want to interact with yourself